Ladies and gentlemen, it is me. My name's Danny Pesci, and I am your host with the most, the big, beautiful broadcast. We are back for another episode, 6 episodes, 6 weeks, 6 talking points on things that are of value to our space. Today is the Ask an EPC Owner. I've got my good friend Haysam, who is on the board of the Residential Solar Association, the RSA, and he is here to talk about what EPCs can do to improve their game and what sales reps can do to improve their game with the EPC. Our goal today is to give you value to help your deals get installed more smoothly and help you sell more deals and get more deals installed. Welcome to the Solar Pros group. My name is Danny Pesci, and this is episode, I think we're on like episode 3 or 4 of the Big Beautiful broadcast. So thank you guys for tuning in. It's been a good couple weeks. Last week we had an episode with Ben Mack. Ben Mack has been doing solar for almost 15 years now, and he stopped knocking doors about 8 years ago. And he went through and gave us 6 or 7 tips on how to get referrals during your sales process. And he has been 100% referral-based business in solar for the last 7 or 8 years. Hasn't knocked a door and still makes income and takes care of 3 kids. One's like 6, 7 now, bigger than him, big kids. So he's feeding them good, and he's doing it all through referral. So go back and watch that episode. The episode before that, we did tax tips and questions, things you need to know as a business owner and sales reps to get your money straight. And then week 1 with my boy Aston Buswell, he is the legendary setter. Setting 101, how do you set more appointments? So go back and watch these guys. This is free game and a lot of really good content for you guys to learn and check in on. So I'm going to be watching the comments. So any questions you guys have, be sure to ask some questions in here. We've got a couple from the group, but we're always looking for more. So let's see who's checking in today. Tell me where you guys are checking in. Enrique, what's going on, dog? Thanks for tuning in. Steven calls here. What's up, Steven? Weston's here. What's up, Weston? Thanks for tuning in. Where are you guys checking in from today, Solar Pros? As we're getting close to Thanksgiving, I'm super thankful for everybody here. Me and my girlfriend, we just went to a little town in California called Julian, famous for their apple pies. I got the whole gang apple pies. So if you guys got your family apple pies this Thanksgiving, holla at your boy. No one loves apple pies more than a middle-class white family. I'm telling you, it's something like crack. White people love apple pies. If you're white and you love apple pies, go in the comment and say apple pies. So let's see right here. Weston, can you help me with a customer friend wanting solar in the Los Angeles area? Absolutely, Weston. I am the host with the most. I'm the most plugged in man in California. So hit me up. Shoot me a DM. I'll get you taken care of for that. Greetings from Michigan. Is it cold out in Michigan right now? Steven, where are you checking in from? Where are you guys checking in from? It's Thanksgiving. I'm thankful. I'm really thankful for our next guest. His name's Haysam. And Haysam is an EPC owner in California, runs one of the largest EPCs, and he also runs one of the largest commercial companies. He's going to tell us more about his story in a little bit, but he's taking time out of his day on a Monday, mind you. Mondays are one of the biggest days in the game for business owners, and he's taking time out of his day to come bless the community. So that's what we're here to do. We're here to bless you guys. We're here to give you guys some value. Thank you so much for being a part of our Facebook group. Thank you guys for contributing, keeping it professional, asking good questions. We're here to serve and give you guys some value. So, oh my goodness. Southwest Florida sold 9 last week. Big Steven, great work, dude. Throwing it down as usual. Good. So with that being said, I'm going to bring on Haysam onto the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, throw some love in the comments for Haysam. He is the star of the show today, episode 4. He runs an installer called Action Solar. He sits on the board of the Residential Solar Association. So he's near and dear to my heart. He's the guy I put all my deals in with California. Absolutely crushes it. Has done a great job. Fast install, fast pay, permits. He does things the right way. And I was talking to him the other day, and I'm like, hey, we got to start getting some information out on how to get these sales reps and EPCs aligned. Because a lot of times sales reps, they don't have direct connections to the EPC. They don't know how it works. They go through a manager, and their manager's supposed to do that. But what if the manager doesn't know? So, Haysam, thank you so much for tuning in. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for bringing that much energy.
Dude, of course, man. It's just another Monday at the Pessy factory. I'm over here. I got apple pie, so I'm all excited, dude. I don't know if you heard, but white people love apple pies, and my family's no exception. So
I love apple pie. I just couldn't put in the notes.
Great. So, Haysam, you live in Utah, right?
Yeah, I live in Utah. Yeah.
And your residential company is based out of California, right? And Texas now too, right?
California, Texas, Florida.
And Florida. Didn't know that. Okay, cool. So the big three, as we call it, right?
Yeah.
And you live in Utah. So tell us a little bit about your backstory. For the people who don't know Haysam, you popped up on the scene. You're involved. You're participating. You're involved at all the events. So where'd you come from? In the last couple of years, you've blown up. Tell us a little bit about your backstory.
No, I appreciate it. Well, I originally came from the auto and the finance industry. So I was in the auto and finance for about 20 years on a few car dealerships, service shops here in the state of Utah. Before that, I lived in New York. That's where I went to school. And came to the state here, started a few businesses, had a couple of great exits, sold all the businesses about 2019, 2020 before I got into putting my money in somewhere new. And started to get into energy and composting. Energy is one of them. I invested with one of the energy solar company. The reason behind it is I wanted to learn more about the space, knowing that energy is where this country is heading early on. Before that, I was heavily involved in lobbying. I've done a lot of lobbying and a lot of connection through the state, Capitol Hill, and on a federal level. Got involved with RSA early on, actually in the very beginning. I was part of the group that helped found it at the early time. Found out that the best way to do solar is to be operational minded. I went and I acquired an existing installer in not too long ago, actually, about 4 years ago. And you're right, I popped into the scene here just in about last 4 years.
Yeah.
Brought in all the learned lesson from the operational side of the car business. And I keep telling everybody, solar is what auto was 20 years ago. Heavily unregulated, wild west, a lot of things happening, and the regulators kind of waking up to what's going on. They always act when something needs to be changed. And the solar industry has always been blessed with a tailwind of incentives, government involvement, great push that helped a lot of people. And my focus primarily was on the commercial space. So we started as a commercial entity, and when the company was acquired, it was a commercial installer. We focused on the commercial. We expanded quickly from 4 states to 30. So we're currently doing installation we're licensed in 30 states, and every state we're licensed, we've done installation in. And currently we're installing in about 11 states actively in the commercial side. The residential made total sense for a couple of reasons. In many states, we had the infrastructure, we had the warehousing, we had the reach, we had the buying power, and then the relationships. We kept fostering the good relationship with lenders. We started with a couple of states that in the beginning, it made sense, and found out it really doesn't make sense really quickly. With the involvement with RSA, which I definitely give them a big shout out, and the amount of work they've done with lobbyists and with all the new changes of the big, beautiful bill, we were able to align ourselves with the political climate, what's changing. So early on, we became domestic content April this year, before everybody was scrambling to get domestic. We were able to shift our focus into PPAs, knowing that has a long life left, with all the safe harbor and installation to 2028 and beyond, based on the size of the project. We start making the strategic move to be positioned in a way where we can serve everybody. Now, we're still we're a construction company. We're 100% a construction company. We have a great sales arm. We have a fantastic new VP, Nick Perry's. We're so blessed and happy to have him. And that's kind of a small snippet on what it is. We got heavily involved with the state of Utah consumer protection here with the last couple of bills they wrote. And currently we're working with them in the new bill they're trying to pass, again, introduce in the next session. In addition, all the awesome changes between the AD/CVD, the FIAC, domestic content, tariffs. There's a lot. The industry is going through similar changes to what happened in the mortgage and the auto industry in the last couple of decades. So I'm optimistic. I think regulation in the beginning is scary. It's more of the unknown, but overall, the country still has goals. We have AI race and AI wars. Essentially, it's what we call, it's the new race. It's a new war. And to be able to control the narrative in the AI space, we need energy. And solar has not ever, or I don't think it will ever be, the only source of energy in the country. It can't be. It can be. It's every single industry supplement the other.
Yep. Yeah, and I've noticed too, like China has been super aggressive on solar, and they're smoking us right now. And what I'm hoping to see is, because of the arms race with AI, they're seeing where China is getting the power for it. They're like, oh crap, they're doubling down on solar. The government will then start turning an eye towards having more solar implementation, and then we're back to having another gold rush, because you realizing that, hey, dude, we can't do this without more energy is huge. So that's what the big talk of the town is with this. AI is a new fresh breath. So what do you see that happening as that's going on? Do you believe the same thing is going to happen? Is, all right, well, now we don't have enough power. The country is going to be not producing enough electricity. Nuclear has been having its troubles and its struggles. I know that it's out there right now and people are trying to push that. But what do you think about that with solar and the AI thing?
I think it's going to be a mix of everything. I mean, nuclear here, at least in the state of Utah, the last signed bill approved for a nuclear site in the state of Utah that they're working on. It's going to take about 5 to 10 years before it's completed. It's a great source of power that will help offset. But in the short term, there are a lot of needs that need to be filled by either natural gas and solar. Natural gas is great. There's a small bottleneck in all the turbines. They're not available. Anybody that ordered turbine today won't see them for 5 years. So let's say for the span of the 5 years, this is not just a Utah thing. It's a national thing. You won't be able to pop up as many natural gas plants, and in the meantime, solar and storage is the answer for the short term. Mm-hmm. And we'll see a lot of movement. Movement has already been happening. I mean, we've been seeing changes, and I think the big beautiful bill has its own interest, and a lot of people got involved in lobbying in that space, including the RSA. We saw the changes for the 25D and what's going on for 48E. I'm happy to talk about it, but the need will extend. The major bottleneck is in the grid stability itself more than the power need, because even though we could produce more power, the grid essentially is archaic. It's a 35-year-old average transmission line, and that causes some constraints. So outsourcing to solar, which can be locally deployed, is a great answer. But there's also some caveat to the AD/CVD and the FIOC and domestic content. And I mean, if anything, we know for our country to succeed, we need manufacturing. But I think they've done so much at once, and now they're seeing the results. It's not favorable.
So for people watching right now, explain generally what domestic content is, so people can understand a general concept of what that is, because that's a new term that just came up with this recent Big Beautiful broadcast, or Big Beautiful bill. Yeah. So what would you say that is at a basic rep level?
So as just from the name, domestic content is not domestically 100% sourced and made in the U.S.
Okay.
They have some percentage, and actually, if you want to educate yourself heavily on it, there is an IRS link. I'm happy to put that link in the chat. That's the latest link. It's the 25-8. I'll put that here in the chat. This explains what component of each part of the system needs to be domestically sourced and made, and what component doesn't have to be. And they came in with a ladder percentage. Every year you have to have certain percentage domestic content until they achieve the goal of the highest domestic content available. That has some constraints, since we don't do our own minerals farm out here. If anything, I mean, even copper, for heaven's sake, we have the largest copper mine in the world here in Utah. We take it out, send it outside to get wire and buy it back in. But they're incentivizing manufacturing to be able to source it all in the U.S., and then that will happen. And from a worldwide level, and solar is the cheapest way to source power, par none. And based on the last 3 years of advancement, it's also 100% recyclable. Like we recycle what we call repower systems. We go repower a Walmart, and they have a couple of megawatts on a roof. we can order a container, a 40-foot container, to come in with the machine in it to recycle the machines on site, where we just divide the components to different buckets and send them back for recycling. The only thing left is the glass. So it's clean, it's renewable, it's recyclable, and it's cheap. That's
they
how
can recycle panels. They can recycle all that stuff now, huh?
Yeah. When you go to the next RE Plus, just there's a space for recycle. Go there and see the beautiful machines that are recycling panels on site.
Wow. So yeah, everyone's like, oh, you can't recycle the stuff. It just goes into a big ditch. Now
it used to. It definitely used to, and that was a kind of a black eye to the industry. It's no longer the case.
Wow, very cool. So if there's a will, there's a way, and they found it out. Wow. So guys, if you're tuning in right now, welcome to the Big Beautiful Broadcast. I'm your host. My name's Danny Pessy. We have Haysam here. He's an EPC owner and on the board of the Residential Solar Association. Today's episode is Ask an EPC Owner. Find out more of what you can do as a rep, manager, or EPC owner to build and grow your business. And so we've got a couple questions for Haysam here. Today's episode is brought to you by DealMachine. They are a home, what's it called? They're a homeowner data company. So if you are looking into getting leads to hit and need homeowner data, DealMachine is your go-to place for that. And then Volition is a recruiting company. The guy running it used to be my old co-manager back in the day, Billy Vergie. And they figure out a way to crack the algorithm on social media and Meta to get you recruits, people who want to go and knock doors or do cold calls, whatever it is. Talk to Volition. They'll help you get a team built out. So we're going to hear more about our sponsors here in a little bit. But today, right now, our star of our show is Haysam. We're talking about what we can do as sales reps, installers to do better on the EPC side. And so as you guys know, solar is a great industry. We've had a couple kicks lately, but with this new advent of AI, there's a big wind of energy being pushed back into the space. And we were just talking about it. Now, number one, we found out solar panels are recyclable. That's news to me. And then number two is how can we be prepared for this big push and domestic content? So what you're saying, Haysam, you just shared it, is having products that are manufactured in the United States and having a percentage of it and eventually getting up to max. Is their main goal is to have everything made in the U.S.?
Well, the outline is there. They go 45, 50, 60%. We don't know if we're ever going to get 100% domestic content. I mean, aluminum, for example, there's no enough margin for manufacturers to make aluminum frames. We have to source that for a while. And I do own an interest in a module manufacturer in Egypt, where I was born and raised. In that, I understand the in and outs of building a module, how much it costs. It's a challenge, but it's happening. It's happening. We're moving in the right direction to manufacturing in the U.S.
Very cool. And so, Haysam, we took a poll and asked a couple questions. So I'm going to throw a couple questions at you so you can be prepared. The point of this podcast today is to just give you guys some value so that how you can improve as a sales rep. So I have a question for the EPC owner. Do you follow construction law 101 and make sure your receivables are properly protected via mechanics liens and filing, which can vary state to state? The reason for the question is they followed those rules. They would have had different outcomes when Sonova filed bankrupt.
That's a big question. Yes.
Yeah.
So as an EPC for us, we definitely follow the rules for mechanic liens. But these rules are governed by the master service agreement you sign with the lender. The lender will have clauses in there that we cannot file a mechanic lien on the customer as long as they're paying for the system. So we cannot go in and take priority over them on the lien. Now, for the case of Sonova, for example, we shut down using Sonova over 2 years ago when their quarterly earnings came out, and we saw how much cash they had versus how much they have in liability, regardless of what the spin letter the CEO was saying about how strong their entity was. We had 3-4 deals left. We ended up canceling those deals and had the sales leaders switch them to different lenders. And even then, Sonova still sold those deals that are not even in existence. We received a letter that those deals belong to Sonova and they're selling them into the bankruptcy ruling. Those deals, we responded back saying those deals are canceled. They no longer have value. But the lender holds the pipeline. They own the pipeline, and that's the right as the lender as giving the money to everybody else. If the deal was cash, then of course we have the first right, we have the first UCC filing on the entity. Every state is different. We follow every state's ruling. Some of it requires to file before we do any work. Some of it requires to file 30 days into it, and we have to provide all the data associated with it. And we use a nationwide service for the UCC filing, so we don't have to worry about what each state look like. We just put the data in there, and they allow us to go through the process of every state to file correctly. Could you have gotten your money from Sonova after you installed the system? I don't think so. It would have been a very long, costly legal fees for the EPC to worry about. It would cost more in legal fees than the system cost would have been. And the risk always sits on the EPC, where they spend the money in the equipment and it sits on somebody's roof till they get paid. So it is the best interest for the EPC to get paid, because the amount of risk we have between all the soft cost and the hard cost of the project, between permitting, interconnection, if there's any advance upfront, all the equipment on the roof, all that comes out of the EPC's pocket until they get paid from the lender before they even pay commission. And if the EPC chooses to pay commission before they get paid, and then they don't get paid, then they're out both. They're out the commission and they're out the cost equipment, which kind of what drove a lot of EPCs out of the market. They were heavily exposed on front-end commissions and exposed on the equipment, and then the lender goes out of business and they can't recapture either. So it's a good thing for it's a good question for the sales teams to understand. If you lose the deal, we lose the deal. We lose a lot more. The commissions are great, and we absolutely advocate for it. It's a lot of hard work, and again, it's a fantastic effort. The equipment sitting on the roof. When I've got $300,000 worth of equipment sitting on the roof that canceled after install that we're chasing, and the lender requires to go through them. Now, if the lender reassigns the UCC filing, which they could, that's the next step. If we're not getting paid from the lender, or there's a clawback for any reason, we request for the lender to reassign the UCC filing to our name, so we can follow through with the state allowed protection to contractor, because the contractor are protected by the state. The state doesn't like to see people go out of business either. The revenue depends on us making money in their state.
Yeah. So you mentioned it a little bit, but there's a lot of cost associated for the EPC to operate before they even get funded. For a couple people watching right now, what are some of those things? And so they have a general idea, because a lot of the times reps don't even realize if they get a cancel, someone's paying for that cancel, and it's not usually them. What does that look like, Haysam?
So initially, the upfront and soft cost, site survey, interconnection, permitting fees, design, engineering, stamps, all the employees' time doing all that work.
Yeah.
All that is an initial cost before we schedule install. And right before install, if we don't have a relationship with direct pay, and direct pay has been a good solution for some EPC, but with direct pay, you also kind of don't have control who you buy from, so you have to adhere to the cost. If you must buy from this distributor in order to receive direct pay to that distributor, you kind of give up a little bit of your negotiating power on spas. And now we see more and more direct pay using the safe harbor, which I'm sure we're going to talk about. That's mainly because the safe harbor equipment has a traceability chain, where they buy the safe harbor equipment with the same exact serial number. The same exact serial number have to be assigned to the same exact project, has to be delivered there. And once we installed, we have to prove that those serial numbers were installed on this roof using geolocation on every picture. Mm-hmm. And just for the lender to believe that their equipment are the one on that roof, and those parameters are not lender requirement. You would think the lender is being strict, the lender is moving the goalpost. Actually, in order for the lender to get their money, they have to get it from tax equity partners, because tax equity plays a big role of economics, and that's what leaves the margin available for the sales team. The tax equity market, with the IRS rules, now mandates a proof of every single process with a traceability chain, and if one of them is missing, the tax equity does not receive their money. So the tax equity funder, whether it's a big fund or it's a bank, they require the lender to create those rules in order for the guaranteed tax equity. Otherwise, it's a chargeback on the lender, then on the EPC.
Wow. So the lenders, LightReach, these TPO products, they're getting money from other people that then charge them back too. So it seems like it's like a middleman to a middleman to a middleman. And if one thing gets messed up in there, it's toast.
It's toast. And if that deal is installed and paid for, then we're out.
Oh, man.
So there is a risk profile. I mean, understanding the risk profile, we have some absolutely incredible dealer groups we work with, sophisticated in understanding how the processes work. And it's on us. It's on us to sit down with them and help them understand, why is it we need to change order? Why is it we need to change items? Why is it the lender is holding the funds?
Yeah.
They're not holding. The lender makes their money when they release the funds.
Yeah.
So the lender itself, the middleman, as you call it, if they get their money from a fund, they have to execute in order for them to make their margin too, and they have their overhead. And then they sell the contract, and then the final owner of the contract is the one that starts collecting the revenue on it monthly using a loan servicing company. So the interface in front of the customer is the same place. So the customer makes payment to the same exact entity. The owner is somebody different. So if the owner decides to sell the contract, the customer is not facing, oh gosh, we sold your contract, now you have to send money somewhere else. They use a loan servicing company. So there are a lot of intricacies in place. And I do know that the sales group that understand and care about it are able to deliver a clean packet, a clean funding, clean communication with the customer. But quite honestly, the industry being now starting to get regulated, everybody likes to look through windows, not through mirrors.
Yeah.
I did my job, why don't you do your job? I did my job, why don't you do your job? Where if you understand that the chain from the second they knock on the door to the second that the PTO is completed is entirely controlled by multiple different entities and rules and regulations to get paid. And that's just part of the deal for now. It's part of the deal for now. And would we see it changing? Yeah, tons of things changing. Everybody has seen so many lenders go in and out of business. Unfortunately, tons of people suffered. And that's because the lenders did not have the right levers or triggers in place to guarantee their funders money.
Yeah. And we just had a question come in from Weston. With Mosaic going bankrupt recently, are their UCC filings still valid?
See, that is a really good question. Going bankrupt does not mean you don't get your money. Okay. So going bankrupt is mainly due to spend more than they received and they don't have money to move forward. Mosaic did make some of the old massive mistakes of giving upfronts.
Yeah.
And when they give that much upfront and the upfront are spent, but the work is not done, Mosaic is being asked to get that money back, and the people that they give upfront to don't have it anymore. And that was the case with some of like Titan Empire, unfortunately. And that was the industry at the time. Is nobody expects an AJ to take 12, 14 weeks before by the time they to move. Well, they don't take 2 to 6 weeks really on average. But then if they have any hiccups or revisions or changing or utility side upgrades that nobody's counting on, that pushes everybody back and you can't get PTO for that, then everybody wants their money back, the funder first.
Yeah.
So UCC filing should be still valid. They should be able to transfer to the APC because the APC's owed money. Then the APC will have to make concessions with the lender, with the client. Either the APC have to find another lender to take it, but now, how do you know if these equipment qualify for the AVL? How do you know if I qualify for domestic? Do I have to go switch anything to get paid? Or would it just be easier to give the customer the keys and walk away?
Interesting. Great explanation there. We're going to go on to the next question is, how has working with sales orgs changed from 2020 to 2025? If at all, what ancillary products are you seeing? What ancillary? Ancillary. Yeah, sorry, I'm a solicitor. I can't read very well. If any come into play as tax credits go away?
That's a compounded question. In 2020, there was lots of loans. Interest rates did not go up. Interests were low. You had 199, 299 with some sort of dealer fees.
Free money, yeah.
But the funding for us was nothing to prove. I don't need photos. All I need is to check a box that says glass is on the roof, and I'll get you PTO. And the term at that time to get PTO was long. Like after install, you have 180 days after install to get PTO. So if there's any hiccups, anybody were able to get it. Mostly they did not have hiccups. So you found out that the money turnover rate was super quick. You get it installed, you turn it on, you get paid even if the system is not turned on or commissioned, we don't have to prove commissioning. Then send commission because the part of the deal is done. And that kind of financial model is frankly what caused all the heartache between sales, EPCs, and financier down the road when rules were put in.
Yeah.
It was a fast pay. I mean, we're like from install to paying the sales guy less than a week.
Yeah.
It was that easy because we knew what we're doing. You know what we're doing. So 2025 comes in, and not only we have to have the right checks and balances on equipment, but we do not get paid in totality until PTO. And I see the industries moving from paying at install and commissioning. So you don't get paid till you commission it. They have to make sure it's connected and commissioned, and then you have to apply for PTO and then get paid the remainder. So they pay anywhere from 80% at commissioning, not just at glass on the roof, 90%, and then 10-20% at the PTO.
So for guys who want to know the difference, so there's install, what's commissioning, and then PTO, obviously they turn it on, commissioning.
So commissioning is you turn the system on to make sure there's production,
okay,
and then compare that production to the production that was promised. So that's commissioning. The system actually works. The modules are on, the micros or the inverters on. You can get commissioning right out of the inverter or the gateway to know that's working before you do the TDR or the connection to the meter. That has to be proven that it's working to get your first installment now. Where before that, a lot of installers literally went, put glass on the roof, ran wire, lifted loose next to the meter, got paid. And then they sent another team to go tie it up and just finish installing, get the power company to do it. And that's if the power company had the time or the resources to put the new smart meter. That also put a little bit of a delay because at some point the smart meters were not available from the manufacturing side.
Got it.
So and then the PTO is the guarantee that deal is accepted and the power companies took it and give you a PTO letter. Then you can go back to the customer and flip the switch on to start the credits.
There you go. Good. Thank you for answering that. Guys, if you're checking in right now, we are on episode 4, the big, beautiful broadcast. We have Haysam checking in from Action Solar, one of California's largest installation EPCs. If you guys are selling in California, be sure to follow Haysam. He is also one of the board members of the Residential Solar Association. He contributes to the space, shows up all the time. And today he's taking time out of his busy day. Mondays are hectic for a CEO, and especially with the amount of volume he's doing, we appreciate you sharing your expertise with us, Haysam. This is a small community, and it's this point of this group is to provide value. And just from this morning, I've already learned a ton of things. So thank you for jumping on. And we're going to take a quick second to talk about our sponsors. So if you guys are tuning in, this big, beautiful broadcast is brought to you by DealMachine. DealMachine is homeowner data. What that is if you're selling virtually, you can now digitally door knock and narrow in the type of homes you like to sell. If you like to sell south-facing roofs, 3,000 square foot that people have just moved in the last 2 or 3 months, DealMachine is the company for you where you can reach out to them. They can show you how to limit only those type of homes, get their data, scrape it on the do not call list, and start calling and texting those clients. So now you literally can be whale hunting from your home. So if you guys are looking on this off season to be selling virtually, DealMachine is your go-to place to go. Reach out to them. They've got an 8-day trial. I actually went out, funny enough, Haysam, I went out and knocked to test out DealMachine. One of my real estate clients went out and had me go knock selling houses and getting refi for mortgages. And I used the DealMachine. It actually says the interest rate on their mortgage, everything about their home, when it was bought, how much they paid into it. So it was a great amount of data. So if you guys are looking to get data and you're digitally door knocking, talk to DealMachine. They are awesome. I personally use it on the doors. It's great. And what else is great is the other sponsor we have is Volition. Volition is a recruiting company. If you're building teams, talk to these guys. They're very affordable. They use social media algorithms to get your content in front of 18 to 35-year-olds who want to get a sales job. The guy who runs it is a buddy of mine named Billy Vergie. We sold together in Pittsburgh in 2014. And he knows the game. He's been doing it for 10 years, 15 years. awesome recruiter, and he had a process that all of Vivint was using, and now he's gone on his own and he's selling it as a service. So if you are looking to build a team, this off season is the time. California is a fast growing market, as a lot of you guys know, and it's a great place for you to blitz, come out and sell. So if you are looking to build a team, talk to Volition. They can get your team staffed and cranking. So if you guys are building a team, now's the time. Get your downline going this offseason. Get them trained up. So when summertime comes around, they're ripping. Okay. You plant the seeds now, the crops grow, and then you harvest them when the time comes. So thank you guys so much for being a sponsor, and for you guys tuning in. We have links in the comments if you want to get a scheduled demo on how DealMachine works and Volition. They'll fill you in, maybe tell you some funny stories about me, but definitely great companies. I've used both, and they kick butt. So
there's the second part of the question though, for ancillary product. I'm seeing they come into play as tax credit go away. There are ancillary projects. I mean, there a big push right now for HVAC, a big push for roofing. There are additional services that getting offered. I'm not familiar with the economics. How would it benefit the sales teams of actually making as much money as they would on solar? I don't know if they make as much money. I don't believe so, given that I see the latest report. But it's a way to get additional revenue as tax credit go away. And we're hoping for a different change here in the midterm election, given everything's going on. And there may be some go backs and talking about incentives again, given the needs.
Good. Yeah, I hope so too, man. I HVAC's funny. Me and my buddy went out to knock and sell HVAC. It was the wildest thing. Like it didn't turn out too well, and it was just there was a real issue with getting urgency, getting people to want to do something. Like, oh well, my thing's fine. So I didn't do too well at it, but we went out for 2 days, and definitely one of those things. Once there's a problem, you just beg someone to come out and fix it, and then they charge you an arm and a leg. So it's a unique industry. I know a lot of people are shopping and adding that onto their product. So yeah, we're looking forward to see how that turns out the next couple of years. And so if you're tuning in now, we are asking an EPC owner. We have Haysam here, runs an installer, California, Florida, and Texas. Anybody tuning in right now, throw some questions in the comments. We have a post that was made basically a couple of days ago, and we've been going through these questions and jamming on them to get you guys some answers. So we've got another one here. At what point does an EPC owner that holds the license stop doing the physical labor work and go 100% in the business ownership role? I imagine it depends on the EPC, but relevant to the industry of those who own and do the physical work.
I can imagine that's coming from an EPC that's trying to grow their business. It's a legitimate question, because when you're going to work in the business or work on the business, that's a two different item. I mean, I know with startup or early stage business owners, entrepreneur, your time is needed to fill so many roles. It is because you either are building, you're bootstrapping, you don't know when you're going to hire the right people, and the luck of hiring the right people too, and science going into it takes a lot of practice to hire the right people right from the first time and put them in the right seat on the bus. So at what point the EPC that holds a license of doing physical labor, if you're looking to scale, I think the question would be, have you perfected and simplified your process enough for scale? If yes, then you'll see that you can plug in somebody to do that for you. Now, although we're at this stage, I mean, we as I said, Nick Perry came into an organization. We're so excited for him, and if you want to put his information for people to reach out to him, that'd be great. But Nick came in, and he himself is still like, you guys have been doing this for a while. There are quite a few things that could be simplified. I mean, the way I like to do things is having what's called the business in a box. That's the first time I heard it, and I think I give him credit for it every single time. How can we get people to join the industry, and they don't have to ask that the question that really use a lot of time, and to provide it for them upfront? When do you move on from doing your own installs? It's different for every person. How you get sales, how you negotiate pricing is difficult for EPCs to go negotiate good prices if they don't have volume. It's kind of like the chicken or the egg. Like just like in the auto industry, if you have bad credit, you're the one that needs the best car payment. Unfortunately, you get the worst car payment. And the people that have good credit and have the ability to pay for higher car payment end up getting the best car payment. Same thing for EPC. And what we ended up developing is we developed something called an ICP, Integrated Contractor Program. So if any contractor is not able to get the best price, is not able to access safe harbor, especially coming up where safe harbor is limited to certain EPC sizes with revenue and insurance and length of business, we take him under our wing and we allow him to get all those discounts. So that helps him to make more money. One of them that started with us February now is big enough to move on their own. They have enough revenue to do it, but they wouldn't have been able to do it if they did not create more margin.
Yeah.
And creating more margin either comes in from increasing pricing, which we all know if you increase price on dealers or sales, they go somewhere else, or reducing cost and then aligning your prices with the market. So that's when can you go do it? Get sales. You're going to suffer some revenue and some margin upfront. Connect with the right ICP providers. We're one of them for a couple of lenders where you won't have to pay for the equipment either yourself. We drop ship it, you install it, and you get paid. And everything is 100% your performance. If you're performing well, providing the pictures, getting the PTO done quickly, you're permitting an interconnection following the compliance rules, you make more money. And that's it's all about revenue. You can move on the second you have trusted people in place to do what you know how to do best, and they can keep moving that while you chug along and grow in the business.
It's all about making it rain. The more you rain, the better you do, man. Production. Great. Thank you for the response on that, Haysam. We got another one here. How much is the post-install pay on a PPA? So,
you would have. That's a broad question. You'd have to help me identify what is the post-install.
So I think what they're talking about is what we talked before the show was with PPAs and funding. We're seeing a lot of M2s and M3s. You personally don't have M3s. Why do some companies pay 80% up front and 20 later? I know personally I have sold with installers last 2 years that have had 80% pay up front. The 20%, I have not been paid on any of those jobs. Not a single one.
And
so
that's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be part of the game.
I know.
So the way PPA pays, we don't get paid 100% at install. We don't.
Okay. That's the EPC. So the EPC doesn't get paid 100%.
No. We don't. We get paid 80 to 90% based on the lender, and it's after we provide all the required data. We have some lenders we absolutely love working with that only require 7 pictures, which is the lowest. However, the rest of them do not require less than 55 pictures. One of them is in the 90 pictures, where we have to provide 90 pictures to prove they get their tax equity for them to give us that 80 or 90%. We made a decision that the second funding is approved by the lender and we know the money is coming in and it's green light, we will pay the sales org 100%, and we will wait for the PTO payment after the fact. And some of the EPCs, have multiple reasons. One of them is cash flow. They just don't have enough cash flow to be able to pay the 100% at funding. So they pay exactly how they get paid. Some of them are because there are some documents that pop up out of nowhere after the install where the customer has to sign. And if the sales organization is not invested by having some cash left to get, they just won't go to the customer and get that done for the EPC because they just got paid.
Yeah.
So those are a couple of reasons. And as far as not seeing that 20%, the one thing I can think of, these are the EPCs that love to play the game low red line, fast pay.
Yeah.
And they give you an attractive red line and a fast pay, counting on 100%, never giving you the 20%, because that makes the red line healthier so they can stay in business. Unfortunately, they do that. It's just like you experience some select sales group where the deal's completed, deal's installed, and then they go flip the deal still.
Yeah.
I had a call with another EPC owner last week, like, hey, I installed this. I can't have the customer to sign some sort of change order for the production change. We installed it, and you're going to remove that equipment from the roof on both your own. I'm like, no, it's not me. So we ended up diving into it. He found that the salesperson took it to a whole different EPC, told him to go take this other EPC's equipment off so they can put their equipment, because that EPC, the third-party EPC, pays at install no matter what, with a lower red line, but they never pay the 20%.
Yeah.
Where the EPC that had the issue on us, we pay at funding. Everything has a risk profile. It started with the lender giving money up front, and most of those lenders that give money up front at signing are no longer in business. And now the EPCs that were doing the same are no longer in business. And unfortunately, there's a little bit of wait period, but normally the wait period, if you have an ongoing pipeline, that wait period is a one-time thing. You wait a little bit for one time, then as long as you keep your pipeline with the EPC moving, you'll see your deals installed. Of course, with most of them going smoothly, some of them will have hiccup. And I think this is also why one of the reasons why a lot of people do max BBW. They do max BBW because they don't know how many of their deals they get paid for. So they might as well make as much money as possible on that one or two deals.
Yeah.
Where I'm working with a dealer, is a fantastic dealer, where he doesn't max BBW, but he has his own follow-up team with our own cadence calls. So we have a weekly cadence calls with them, and they keep in touch with the client at all times. They get updates from us. We update the clients ourselves. So their cancellation rate is so low, so they don't feel this insecurity of having to charge all the money because they don't know what's going to happen. That one EPC, 45% of their deals are referral.
Because they do it the right way, and they price it accordingly, so the savings are there. So
and nobody can snag the deal after they sign it. Anybody walks into that same customer like, we're going to beat him, and look at the price. I'm like, well, I don't know how to do that, and they end up retaining more of the deals. So it's a sense of security per se, but that's mainly why some of the EPCs. I know an EPC that owes a dealer $16 million in that 20%. They know they're not going to get paid. Everybody was happy getting paid a week after installing, whether the EPC got funded or not. Well, yeah, because that 20% is massive. It's $16 million. They can use that to pay others upfront and never pay those guys the 20% and keep it rolling. And they just count on the fact they're just going to keep finding dealers that are super hungry on faster pay. And they would say, like, that's part of the deal. I'm just going to charge the customer 20% more and get my money, and they can just keep it.
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate game. Instead of transparent pricing right off the bat, transparent timeline, working in alignment and why the deals are going this fast or this slow. We have a whole heat map for the state of California. If you install in that heat map and it's marked green, yellow, and red, you know how fast we get permits, how fast we get interconnection, how fast we get pay. With it, you go outside of the heat map, we let you know. Like the one, we have one AHJ where every time we have to give them a plan set. I was just telling you that.
Yeah.
We have to give them the plan set. They sit on it for 4 to 6 weeks before we get a permit. When we go do the install, if the customer decides, like, I don't want conduit, I want to do attic run, well, then it's not going to pass inspection, because when the inspector shows up, it's not identical to plan set, and the inspectors are kind of, they're not difficult. They're doing the right thing to the customer because they take on the risk of fire. They have to make this done correctly. Then we have to go back to the same AJ, but the AJ will not allow us to change the plan set without bringing the old plan set. They take it, they sit on it for 2 to 4 extra weeks to give us a new plan set. And by that time, the salesman is like, you guys installed. Where's my money?
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of, yes, that happened. And those are one-offs. They're not the common thing. 83% of our deals go smooth. The 17% have some sort of thing. And out of the 17%, 10% of them are the one that have to do with crazy inspectors or MPUs.
Yeah.
So if you deal with a lender, for example, a couple of the lenders do not pay anybody until the MPU is done. That's why I do work with Good Lead. Good Lead pays even if the MPU is not done. So we can speed up the process to the sales team. But Enfin or by Reach, like, no, the MPU has to be done before I pay you. Well, the MPU time is not me. The MPU time is when the power company is willing to come out to shut off the house, wait to come back, to turn it back on, and then test and pass the inspection for the MPU in addition to the solar. So they delay all the inspection until all is completed so you can match plan set. And the TDR for the power company, they don't just show up when you call them. Like, yeah, we have an availability in 6 weeks, 5 weeks, 8 weeks, when they have their own people are available to go turn it off, especially in the state of California where nobody else can touch that disconnect except the power company. So it's that's one of many scenarios. And those be, the post-install pay on PPA, if we understand that correctly, it's kind of like you want it's like, going to school. You want to invest 5 to 7 hard years between college and MBA, and then have easy 50.
Yeah.
Or you just want to go just do 2 to 3 years of some sort of something, and then you don't have the same revenue. It's same thing in this. Do you want to take a little bit lead time in the front end, but know you're going to get paid for a fact, everything 100%, not just the 80, or you just want to get paid the 80 and pop out, and then you never know if the 20 coming or not.
Big good advice there, Haysam. Thank you for that. And we've got time for one last question. What would you say if a sales rep or a manager is looking at this right now? What would you say to those guys to help them get their jobs through faster? Some advice, some things you wish the sales force would know. What are some general tips or ideas that you wish you could tell these guys to help make your job easier?
Honestly, from looking at a mirror first, communication has been a factor for everybody. Understand if there's a reason, if there's a delay, what the reason for the delay. Get on a cadence, weekly calls. Don't miss them. If you receive, which is kind of difficult with the blitz model, because if they need to go back to the customer to do a change order due to production issue, design issues, setback issues, AHJ requirement of changing some of the stuff, and they can't go back. Just communicate that with the EPC and tell them, like, yeah, I can't go back. It will cost me $2 to $3 grand to get out and get that done for you. Just go ahead and you send your guys. I'll pay $1,000.
Okay.
Whatever it is, I'll just get it moving fast, so it's not sitting on the on-hold queue for the second blitz to go out. Also, just understand the geography and the power companies. If you, like, for example, LAWP, and we don't want to do business there. They don't like solar. They sit out for 9 months and permit and just any connection.
Yeah,
that's just who they are. That's okay. That's what they chose to do. But other power companies, other location, communicate before you go out. I'm going out next month. Where do I go? Like, well, here's a heat map. Here's a map. These places I can get solar A+, fast permit, AGS are responsive. They're actually they're renewable friendly cities. Great. If I go do that, which lender pays you the fastest and has the least requirement? Because a lot of people will go with the lender. I mean, lenders are fantastically genius. They will go and advertise all over the place. We'll give you a higher PPA price for your commission. True. That's how they gain contracts to raise money. So it's not like they have money and they need to gain contract. They actually like to gain contract, sit on them before they give you NTP. That's why some of the companies don't give you NTP until you have permits. Now, while other lenders give you NTP before permits, the lender that gives you NTP after you have permits, they're only doing it because now they can take that contract, go to their funding partners, like, look, we have permits, give me money. They actually don't have money. That's why they delay the NTP. And now, if they had money, they're gonna go tell us, like, we just need a clean packet, a ACH, driver license, clean signed contract, good production. You give me those, we get NTP. Great, we have notice to proceed. We can move forward. Ask which lender gives you NTP without having to wait weeks for permits or any connection. Which lender? Because this is my job. My job is to talk to every lender and ask them for their financials, asking them where they get their money from. How much money do you actually have in the bank? How much of it is going to debt? How much do you have in the pipeline and the backlog? Can you cover it? Can you not cover it? I see those as, like, I saw the red flag in Sonova. I saw the red flags in Mosaic, well ahead of the pain, and we stopped doing business, cleaned up the pipeline, paid everybody, and then I got some sales groups mad at me. How is it you're not allowing me to sell Sonova? I make so much more money with Sonova than the other lender you tell me to work with. Do you have a backdoor deal? I'm like, no. We know Sonova is going to go out. I don't want to lose my equipment cost.
Yeah.
So those are the ask which lender you prefer and why. Why? Have the EPC give you the reason why they like that lender. Not just I like him. Give you the good reason. Which area it should go in. Who's my account manager? I need their phone number, direct phone number to talk to. And if there is a hiccup, how can I find out about it to go help you get the deal moving forward? So that adds the equation. It actually means the world to us. Like, I'm telling you, we have some dealers that have fantastic volume, and we would do, like, these guys ask us those questions before leaving. Just right before our call, they call me. We're going in December, and I need to know the area. I need to know the lender. I will have some add-on systems. How can I do that? Because now GoodLeap and Everbright don't do it.
Yeah.
They have ADUs that share the same serial number. That's a problem because serial numbers have only one UCC filing, and if you have 2 meters on the same serial number, the second lender takes the back seat in repayment. If they don't pay him, they can't force him to pay. So that causes high risk, and when it's high risk, it's more scrutiny in the process. So all that, in fact, the first 90 days of payment is really the hardest for ADUs and same serial number add-ons. So that's those risks. Ask those questions, or ask the questions like, what questions haven't I asked?
Yeah.
In this whole thing, we haven't had anybody ask questions about safe harbor. How long is that going to last?
Yeah.
That's an important question because equipment matters. If your EPC does not have equipment through safe harbor, come January 1st, your red line is going to go up 40 to 60 cents because the remainder of the equipment manufacturer that have domestic and they have not purchased by a safe harbor entity, whether us or a lender, they can name the price because the demand will way kill the supply, will way outpace the supply. And if you think they're not going to do that, if you've been in the industry long enough for COVID, you know how much the distributor would charge and everybody for modules and inverters. Like, yeah, we have no shipment. Everything's stuck in the port. We got to make our money now. That keeps us afloat for the next 3 months on what we have, because we don't know how long is gonna be seized on the port for COVID. If you think they're not going to do that, that's not true. They are going to do that, and it's not necessarily greed. Those guys have a business and have expenses.
Yeah.
And if they don't make the money right now, not knowing when the domestic content or the FIAC restriction will ease up, they have to stay in business.
Yeah, I remember that. It was so funny. We're like, yeah, man, we can try to sell you this. I don't know if we have any panels left, man. Honestly, we're almost out of panels. We got probably 20 or 30 left in the truck. Let's just see if we can squeeze you in. I remember that. That was funny. So, yeah, man. But Haysam, you dropped some bars today. We've reached our time allocated. We had some really good viewership on here. A lot of good questions from previously and during it. Thank you so much for jumping on and jamming. Haysam, where can everybody find you at? I know if you're watching this and you haven't joined the Residential Solar Association, you totally should. You get to see me and Haysam a couple times a year and be part of a community where these questions are asked consistently. People are always asking, and it's good to have a community of like-minded people to help you grow your business. Haysam's a wealth of knowledge, and some of the big nuggets that I took away today is if you are running a blitz, talk to your EPC and see where they can go, what lenders they should be using, how fast the permit time. Guys, it's time to be a little bit smarter with this. It's time to do some more homework. It's time to do some more research and align yourself with the right groups. And Haysam, you've done a great job. I've loved all of the projects you've put in for me. So if you're in California, Texas, and if you're in these markets and you're looking for an installer, reach out to Haysam. He'll give you a PESI special. And I know he's taking on dealers, obviously. And we appreciate so much time, and thank you so much for jumping on and jamming with us today.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Cool. Haysam, you're the man. So, guys, that's it for episode 4. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, the most. There we go. I'm back. Your host, the most. So let's just take a final word from our sponsors, DealMachine. If you've tuned in today's episode, DealMachine is one of our main sponsors. They are digitally door knocking. So if you need homeowner data, you can get so specific on it. Here's a couple problems we focus on. It's getting cold outside for door knocking. Virtual prospecting is not restricted by temperatures or sunlight. Okay, people don't like to knock, no problem. Easier to recruit callers than boots on the ground. If it's going into winter and you don't have good weather where you're at, you can actually go into DealMachine, find the homes that you like, and narrow down to exactly what type of homes, how long they've been there, square footage, south-facing roof, all that stuff. DealMachine can get you a list of those homes. You can scrape that data off the do not call list and start texting and calling those deals. If you like talking to a certain customer, DealMachine is the one. I've used it. I've went out and knocked with it. The data is phenomenal and is a great product. So if you're running a call center and you need homeowner data, reach out to DealMachine. We got a link in the comments. And then if you are getting ready this off season to build a team, you want to contact Volition. Volition is a recruiting company. The owner of it is a buddy of mine, Billy Virgin. We sold together back in the old days at Vivint, and he runs a recruiting agency, and he knows how to get people's butts in the door and on the doors. So if you are wanting to recruit and need a cost-effective method of doing it, reach out to Volition, schedule an interview, schedule a meeting, see what they're all about. Because, guys, if you're selling, it's time to build a team. Okay, if you're building a team and you want more people, reach out to Volition. They'll help get some butts in your seats. I found it's very hard to sell, recruit, and train and manage. That's a lot of hats. Let somebody else do the recruiting for you. Get people in the door so that you focus on what you do best: selling, recruiting, or selling, training, and managing. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to episode 4. I hope you guys got some good nuggets. Haysam dropped some bombs to help you guys grow your sales org, business, EPC, all of that. We'll put his information in here too as well. If you guys are looking to sell in those markets, he does a great job, does it by the books. So with that being said, guys, thanks for tuning in. Next week, same time, same place, we have got episode 5, and we will be jamming with you guys then. Until then, have a great Thanksgiving, guys. Enjoy your time. I'm here in beautiful Southern California. I'll be going and eating some apple pie with my family down in Newport and hanging out. So yeah, it'll be a good time. So hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. Thankful for you guys. Thank you for being part of this community. Solar Pros, you guys are awesome, fantastic, and love you guys, and hope you guys got some value from this. And we'll see you guys after the holidays.